Augustine of Hippo, de Doctrina Christiana, Episode 8. Qui quoniam nullis huius modi observationibus lectis, quales nunc tradere institui, facultatem exponendordrum sanctordrum librordrum, se assecutos vel vident vel putant, nemini essa ista praecepta necessaria, sed potius totum quod de illardrum literardrum obscuritatibus laudabiliter aperdritur, duino munere fieri posse clamitabunt. Now Augustine is going to explain who these people were that he mentioned in the previous portion, that third category of detractors or critics. These are people who, because, now nullis through lectis, who, with no principles, observationes of this kind, having been read, although they have not read any principles of interpretation, such as quales I have now decided to impart or explain, who, although they have not done that, they seem, vel vident vel putant, they either see that se assecutos, and we have to understand esse, they see that they have themselves acquired, that's assecutos, some ability, facultatem, in explaining the holy books, or, that's the second well, they think that they have acquired some facultatem in explaining the holy books. These persons, nemini esse ista praecepta necessaria, and then the verb is clamatabant. They will keep shouting that ista praecepta, that these principles are necessary nemini, that such principles are necessary for nobody, or that nobody needs such principles. But instead, said Potius, totum, the whole, which, concerning the obscure places of sacred literature, the whole, that is, aperdritur, explained or laid open in a praiseworthy fashion, that whole thing, duino munere fieri posse, by divine gift, can take place. So they will keep shouting, you see, clamitabunt, two things. The two things that they will keep shouting is this, that ista praecepta esse necessaria, that these principles of interpretation aren't necessary for anybody, that they are necessary for nobody, but rather they will keep shouting that totum, the whole thing, can be accomplished or take place divino munere, by divine gift. And then modifying totum is quoted through aperdritur, the whole thing which is revealed in a praiseworthy fashion, commendably, de obscuritatibus, when it comes to the obscure places of sacred literature, that can be done rather by divine gift. So let's look a little bit at the grammar of this complicated and beautiful sentence. First we have qui, the subject, and this is masculine, plural, and nominative. It's going to be the subject of clamitabunt, the very first word and the last word. Then we have a subordinate clause introduced by quoniam, the conjunct that means because. These are persons who, because quoniam, then we have the ablative absolute, which is feminine, plural, and ablative observationibus, principles of this sort, none of them modifying observationibus, and electis, also modifying, therefore same gender, number, and case, since no principles of this kind have they read. And then we have a clause from quales through institui, which is going to modify the observationibus, principles such as now, nunc, I have decided to impart. These are people who, because, vel vident, vel putant, they either see or think that se esse assecutos. So that is an oratio obliqua, indirect statement, introduced by vident and putant, the subject of which is se right here. The verb esse is implicit, and then we have assecutos, which is the predicate from assequor, to arrive at or to get. It's a deponent. It's taking here facultatem as the object in the feminine singular and accusative. That's just a noun. Then we have this gerundive phrase, exponendordrum sanctordrum librordrum, masculine, plural, and genitive. The gender of the noun here, librorum, is masculine. It's capitalized to refer to the books of the scriptures. They either see that they have gained some ability or think that they see or think that they have gained this ability in explaining the Holy Scriptures. So now we are finally out of the subordinate clauses, and qui, as the subject of clamitabunt, now we are in the main clause. These are persons who will shout, and what will they shout? Ista praecepta necessaria. So here's another oratio obliqua, this one introduced not by vident or putant, but by clamitabant. So the subject of that is praecepta, neuter, plural, and accusative. The verb is esse. It's got the modifiers ista and it has ista and necessaria as modifiers, and then nemini in the masculine singular and dative. That these principles are necessary to nobody, that's what they will shout. But rather, they will shout, clamitabunt, that totum, here's a neuter singular accusative. Why? Because it is the subject of posse in yet another indirect statement, or oratio obliqua, that the whole thing can be done, fieri posse divino munere. So by divine gift, this means without human effort or principles, the kind that Augustine is seeking to impart. And then we won't go over this quod clause again in the interests of time, but it modifies totum as previously explained.
Thank you so much for watching this free video. I hope that you learned a lot about the classical languages and advanced your knowledge and enjoyment. You can help us keep going with this instruction if you like this video and subscribe to the channel. We've had hundreds of thousands of views in the last 9 years, and we would really like to grow our number of subscribers. If you hit the little bell, you will be notified every time we release a brand new free instructional video. You can also check out one of my Latin or Greek courses at LatinPerDiem.com or mossmethod.com. Check the links if you'd like to study Latin and Greek with me directly. So keep learning, and vale tote omnes.